So move on. Vimeo people, we're on number 13. That is Whiteley79. Shall we do this, gentlemen?
Yes, we shall.
3,
Let's do
2, 1, unpause. Again, with my long intros.
Don't like it.
You blew it. You blew it.
My bad. Sorry, people that are syncing this up later.
Black screen bad. Hulk smash.
Love it.
Yes. I will say I'll just I'm not gonna bury the lead.
You're just going to say something now, aren't you?
This is my favorite. This is my number one.
All
I
right.
absolutely love this one. I'm just gonna say it right up front.
Fair enough.
The main critique I have is I don't like the music. The music, because it's so familiar, it uses stuff from Empire and stuff like that, and I'm always like, I know where that comes from in that movie, and I'm distracted by that
Because
fact.
I'm thinking about that movie as opposed to yours.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But when getting past that, this has a lot to offer here. You go ahead. I'll have more to say, but
I love the fact that they use a lot of Jedi tropes here, but it is a logical use of the tropes. They start off at range, so obviously he's going to throw Sith lightning at him. So then he ignites a saber. Now they're going to do the force pushes. That, by the way, the force push on the wall is awesome. Then after a while of doing the force push, then they realize, okay, now we're in a saber fight. That is what I talk about when I talk about a thought and a progression of move selection. And that's great. A kick.
They put more thought into how that would go than George Lucas did for Attack of the Clones.
You're absolutely
George
right.
Lucas got it backwards.
You're absolutely right.
You can tell from this stuff right here already, the energy is just off the scale.
And targeting, they are aiming, they're incorporating the force powers perfectly, not at inopportune times. They don't get really squared up and then try to do a force choke when they're inches away from each other's face. No, when they're that close, he's going to try to use the giant laser sword to kill him.
Yeah.
And again, like, really,
Also,
really clever ordering of it.
Him throwing the box using the force throw was one of the more convincing times I've ever seen that effect done.
Right.
I really believed that was just picked up through telekinesis.
Yeah.
Where most of them are going, oh, that was a pretty decent effect.
This is a fun cheat. I mean, you can tell what's going on, but it sells it well enough to make sense. But I want to say that these guys this team has entered consistently the last 4 years, and each time they've gotten better and better. Like the first time, you could always see potential in the performances because they've always been very solid with choreography ideas and stuff, but it never quite gelled before. But each time they've improved, and I think this time it's finally like, yes, this is what I wanted to see you guys do because this is what I could tell you were capable of.
It goes back to what we were saying earlier, where you just have to keep. You're gonna make not great stuff. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and you have to just keep working at it until you build up the experience.
Yeah, but in each time they pull out the sabers, it's the energy is there, and they're doing something new each time. They're consistently trying to kill each other, and you never get a sense of it's just left, right, up, down, all that stuff.
Right.
It's always the targeting, like you say.
Exactly. The intention is there. The targeting is there. When they do get squared up and they swing, they increase the rate of their swings because that's realistic. When you get really close and you just throw, that's what's going to happen. And yet they transition out of it. They don't stay too long in one sort of setup. They don't stay too long in one sort of gag. This, by the way, and I've gone on and on about it to everybody else, this where he Jedi mind tricks the guy to run over his opponent is absolutely brilliant.
It's a great idea, although in canon you have to actually say something to Jedi mind trick someone. So,
but that is the hotness as far as I'm concerned. The guy's like, "Oh my God, I'm getting out of here."
Yeah,
I love that. I mean, just the move selection, and everything's done very casually. Like when he does the force grab, a lot of guys spend a lot of time really overselling it. He just casually reaches out, and grabs it.
Here's honestly,
it just needs that.
This reminds me a lot of Kung Fu Hustle.
It does. It has that kind of vibe.
No, honestly, a lot of it, especially in this sequence here. A lot of the way they're selling their performances is very silent movie, very Keystone Cops and Buster Keaton, stuff like that. Especially the bit coming up with the drainage tube, which I love this bit here. Just
hanging on to this. Oh, no.
This is very well sold. And again, across a cut, they've changed the way that they're doing the gag, but it feels consistent.
It's very Buster Keaton.
Very smart.
But this is
this hurts.
Ow,
that really stings.
There is a logical progression to the types of moves that they're doing. So now they're unarmed. So yeah, the bad guy is just going to tackle and do some ground and pound.
Yeah.
One thing really quick, from a jiu-jitsu perspective, if you're going to take mounted position, don't don't put the knees on the biceps like that. Like sit it down a little bit further. That's just my own very nitpicky little thing.
In case you were thinking of putting a guy on the ground and punching him in the face while standing on him.
Well, they did.
That's a
they
Good
did.
advice before your next fight.
Again, more thinking through. They're like, well, they can do lightning, and so. I think that's great. I didn't see that coming. It's so much inventive stuff here.
It's like we talk about on commentaries. It's like the surprising yet obvious.
Yes.
As soon as it happens, you go, of course, I didn't think of that, but I should have. There's actual legitimate foreshadowing in this, which is great.
That kick he did, we had him on the ground. That was the exact right angle you wanted to have for that sort of arcing kick to get him off of there. If you had chosen a different angle, it wouldn't have sold. But from that angle, it looked absolutely legit, and he sold it very well.
They're selling all of this very well as well.
It's a good selection of moves too. A couple of the blocks are a little clunky, but by and large, this unarmed sequence really works for me. I think you could have maybe shortened it a bit, but again, really smart progression of moves. I think this is like the smartest choreography in terms of how every move progresses, and the performers have intensity to match.
Yeah, I'm the least interested in choreography in the room. Okay, second least interested in choreography. And this movie isn't quite as slickly made as some of the others. I mean, in terms of a technical level, but the camera angles are there and the intention is there, and I'm okay with a garage band look to a movie if the movie itself is good and well made and supports it. And this is just two guys having a street brawl that happens to involve this. And
amazing.
Bonus props for a room full of effects artists. We're all kind of going, I wonder how they did that. There's a lot of ways you could have done that, but I can't tell which one it was. But this is phenomenally well made, and even though I can't name that was a wushu whatever, it's like the sheer gag per minute ratio of the creative thoughts of all the different ways to explore how two guys could have this fight. It just never flags, it never stops, and it goes on for an amazingly long time and holds my interest the whole time. And I don't like fights, so this is an amazing piece of work.
Yeah, despite being the longest one, it's the easiest to watch in terms of keeping your attention, I think.
Really quick semantical argument here. Laszlo just said it was KZ fighting method there. KZ fighting method is the alleged style that the guys who do the choreography for Batman and Dark Knight do. Yeah. For the record, Laszlo, KZ fighting method is a pretty basic rip-off of some Penchak's lot and a little bit of JKD. So if you're saying it's KC fighting method there, no, it's other styles that have that they're drawing the same sort of influence from. It's not KC fighting method is just it's not exactly what you're thinking it is.
Here we go. I mean, and it's another thing where each time it feels fresh. I'm like, back into sabers. I'm like, no, wait, they did sabers before, but I don't feel like I'm over the sabers yet. There's a lot going on. Different.
And they've changed location. Instead of being in a tight corridor, now they're in an open space, and they can try some different moves and different.
I like the little face Laszlo made in the chat.
Sorry about that. I wasn't trying to scold you, dude. I'm just saying, like, it's there. That is a very important distinction to make. These guys don't study Casey. They're doing some stuff that is similar to that.
Yeah. You like that move where he goes under the leg.
He checks the leg and then blocks the saber staff with the saber and then spins around. That's giving your backhand fight is like the last thing you ever really want to do. But these guys, there's a logical reason that when they do, how they get out of it.
Yeah. It's a good. They have pretty good continuity in terms of the time of day too, which is very impressive.
All day and now the sun's going down. I love that.
It should start snowing.
Yeah.
Which I would actually be curious to know how many days it took them to film the Magic Hour stuff, because when you shoot something in Magic Hour, you really only have like half an hour of usable Magic Hour time.
I like the drawback of the I kind of like that for some reason. And this is a great build too. We've learned so much about these guys as characters through how they fight.
Yeah.
The Magic Hour stuff is all one day. He says. That's which is impressive.
Phenomenal.
That's very impressive. Had to work fast. Well, you
that's how it goes.
You made the most of your time, sir.
Well, I mean, and that says a lot for the fighters too, to be able to get this, this quality level, having to work obviously that quickly. I love this little reaction here. It's a lot of little things that really make this fun to watch.
I personally like it's a very straight homage to Return of the Jedi, but I personally like that a lot. I would much rather them rip that off than Phantom Menace, because that's a better duel, because there's the emotion and there's an intensity to it.
I agree, but all things considered, I'd rather not see explicit choreography ripped off.
Right.